That was
the crash site was 85 miles northwest of Camp David.
85 miles?
Northwest.
Well, then
and heading southeast.
Camp David's in Pittsburgh.
That's me.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying, Drew.
Ferment, Maryland. Maryland.
That was at 10:45 this morning. I mean,
this is the website review of the day.
Now, I'm telling you, I stared at.
But now you know where I got that from.
I understand that, but apparently that was just early speculation.
Right, so, relying increasingly on drugs or alcohol to get through the day.
And the president, I'll get into that. The president wasn't at Camp David.
Nor was he in the White House.
I know, but wouldn't they have known he wasn't at Camp David? Or maybe not that far in advance?
Or maybe they thought that's where they'd evacuate him to or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Feeling extremely moody, irritable, angry, suspicious, or frightened. Having difficulty falling or staying asleep, sleeping too much, experiencing nightmares. Feeling guilty about surviving the event or being unable to solve the problem, change the event, or prevent the disaster. Feeling fears and sense of doom about the future or experiencing health problems.
Okay, so this is all part of
8 of 10 of them.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
And so you woke up at what time?
I woke up about 6:20 and heard, I think, Ralph break into K-Rock's radio broadcast saying that...
K-Rock is the mother station out here in Los Angeles.
And saying, anyone watching on television knows now that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. My wife, who sleeps like she's dead, took this huge gasp and flew out of bed. I mean, before I just sat there listening with my eyes open, thought, oh my God, how awful. And she was like, whew, and down to the TV, had the kids rounded up, and then we spent the rest of the day trying to keep them from the...
Now, why round up the kids? I mean,
it's sort of your instinct. It's like during an earthquake, you go get the kids. That's the first thing you do.
Okay.
And they had gotten up earlier because they've just started school and they were already getting ready.
What was going on over there at your house? Are people up at 4 in the morning?
6. And then I tried to see patients and I couldn't concentrate and I had some writing to do and I had, I went to the hospital and just appeared at my chemical dependency unit just to show people support and they were trying to process the events, and a lot of them knew people in New York and had friends in the building and whatnot. It was awful.
You ever been to the World Trade Center?
Yeah.
You've been up top at the observation deck?
No, I don't think I ever have. But I just imagine people having breakfast at Windows of the World, tourists and things. I mean, this is a culmination for some people of the trip.
I've been up to that observation deck up there on the 110th floor, and you just stand up there. You can't believe that you're that high off the ground. You're not in an airplane or a hot air balloon.
Right.
Number one, I mean, you can see all of Manhattan. Number two, you just can't believe that that's a man-made structure that you're standing on top of. But it is so large in scale. I think when people who haven't been there see it from a helicopter shot or see it from one of those very distant shots, it's so tall that it almost looks like it's sort of wafy. Yeah, it doesn't look as substantial as it actually is.
No, it's massive.
It is massive.
And even that downstairs lobby is like a giant train station.
Right. The downstairs of the place is, 8-10 stories before there's a ceiling, just in the lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, it is as big a structure as humanly made.
Now imagine you're at the 80th floor and it's on fire and these people are jumping out. I mean, that's just...
I couldn't watch any of that. I really couldn't. Yeah. And I could imagine, now see, here's what I was trying to gather. They said that 50,000 people could have been in that building at any during business hours. And it was at 8:45 in the morning or so I'm assuming there was quite a few people in that building. Now, the plane hits the first building about 8:45 in the morning. The people, Drew, don't get nutty with that. It was 8:41 or something like that. Don't get crazy.
I don't see if that's right. Okay, go ahead.
The point is the people in that building and in the tower next to it must have naturally assumed that this was a plane that had some mechanical difficulty or had trouble with their heading or bearing or compass. And this is just a horrible, tragic accident.
Mistake. Yeah.
Right. But you probably would not feel in any way threatened that another plane would hit the thing.
In fact, you'd feel like, what are the chances of that?
Yeah. I mean, if you were in the other tower and a betting man...
You'd stand and look and say, ooh, look what's going on across the way.
I would have absolutely just had my face pressed up against a window staring at the other tower that was next to mine. Now, I'm sure that people obviously cleared the tower, those who could, cleared the tower, the one that was hit. But I assume that they would have cleared the tower that was next to it almost immediately as well because of the opportunity of the tower possibly falling over or damaging their tower in some way through an explosion or something like that.
Yep.
I'm hoping that no. But Drew, don't go worst case scenario.
Larry King interviewed some people on his show tonight who said they were told to stay at work. Just they got taken care of.
So they were said, the people in the second tower were told, don't go down, don't go out in the street, you could be hit by debris.
That's the kind of thing I was hearing.
Okay, and that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you could see them saying, don't rush out into the street.
But we need 20,000 people in the street now. We're trying to fight a fire in the big building here. What if it falls over on them? You know what I mean?
When they're out in the street.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the part that's very sad to me, which I couldn't really discern through all the news reports and everything today, which was, were people clearing out of that second tower or not?
I don't think so.
And so the answer may be no. Mm-hmm. And then the second part is the first one, I believe, hit higher up. The first one hit higher up, and the second one hit a little more toward the center.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Both still, at least at the upper floors.
Right.
I was flabbergasted that the thing came down to the ground.
It killed me. I couldn't believe it.
I thought the thing was going to burn up there like a wooden matchstick planted in some sand.
Towering
and it would just burn out.
Remember that?
Yeah, that the flames and the fire would head up toward the roof and then it would burn out.
Here.
I had no idea that the thing would implode that way.
That was when I went into a state of shock.
And apparently it was all the hundreds of gallons of jet fuel that were coming down the thing, that were catching fire, that were weakening it in the middle of the building. And then once it was weakened in the middle, the top half crushed the bottom half. But, diabolical in the plan, by the way. Mm-hmm. I mean, a jet with thousands of gallons of fuel, full of fuel,
cross-country,
ready to go across the country. Just amazing. Now, I'm wondering if the who planned the attack even dreamed that the thing would come down completely once it wasn't toppled.
It's an interesting question, but they claim, I heard people talking, that they sort of studied what they did wrong when they tried to blow up the parking lot to try to get it to collapse.
Right.
That clearly was their goal.
And what happened structurally when they blew it up in the parking lot was almost nothing, obviously, compared to this.
Right.
And even though it was a huge detonation, the building was so sound and so steady that it really was never in any real danger of coming down.
That's right.
So, I was at the building relatively shortly after it was the detonation of the parking lot went down, maybe a year later. Everything was back to normal, and it just really wasn't no big thing. But this is absolutely catastrophic.
And we're going to just begin. We haven't even got a measure or even an idea what went on to the buildings around. I mean, think how many other things must have been destroyed.
Yeah, and those buildings, which just look like the model buildings you'd have next to your train set compared to the 110-story World Trade Centers, were substantial buildings. I mean, there was 30, 40, 50-story buildings probably around there that housed thousands and thousands of offices and people. And just to give it some scope, I was sort of thinking about that they think. And no one knows, but the speculation is maybe 25,000 people die. Could be as high. I think 40 would probably be high, and 15 would be low.
I'm hoping for 5 or 6, something like that.
It just seems inconceivable that at least 15,000 didn't get it in that. But anyway, you look at it, Vietnam had about 56,000 people die. So I mean,
but by the way, in military operations. Not necessarily Vietnam, but in most military operations, people are going with the understanding that they could die. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
These are people going to work.
But I'm saying...
Totally innocent.
Just...
on scope.
Scope, this could theoretically claim half the lives...
Of Vietnam.
Of the entire, 10-year Vietnam conflict. And so it's absolutely amazing and catastrophic. And to think that the origin of all these deaths could all be linked back to a $2 box cutter type knife that you get at the hardware store, or sort of a plastic shiv that would be fashioned in some prison. house somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was sitting in my living room today, and this is why I don't smoke pot anymore.
Mushrooms.
I was picturing the $10 worth of weapons that were smuggled onto these planes, the knives, they said like maybe a box cutter or carpet cutter type knife, that these $2 and $3 items were linked to 15,000, 20,000 deaths. That's what killed this many people. Not even one bullet fired.
Right. Do you know what they do in El Al, the Israeli airline?
No, a strip search and they handcuff you to the seat.
Plainclothes air marshals in with the passengers on every flight. Every flight.
Right. Well,
that's what we gotta have.
That may start here.
I only feel good about flying until that happens.
Well, I'll feel good about flying when they start serving booze before the plane takes off in first class, not till after we're in the air. That's when I'm going to feel better about it.
So really tonight we just want to be available and let's see what people want to talk about and sort of process some of this. And if you have post-traumatic stress symptoms, we have helplines and we have the numbers you can call if you need American Airlines information, United Airlines information.
Yeah.
Everyone have O blood, type O blood. They are accepting only type O blood now, so go give it.
Why? Is that what they have the shortage of?
It's universal donor, so they just give it using that.
That's the most popular?
Yeah, it's the most popular blood type this evening, yes.
Well, what do you mean the universal donor?
You don't have to match it. You don't have to match the blood.
Type O, you don't have to match it. Yeah. You know, I did call the Red Cross today to try to give some blood, and I got the busy signal about 4 times in a row, and then I went to go work on my car. But at least I tried.
How'd you get hold of Daniel? We have a friend that lives near the tower.
One of my best friends lives right near the tower, and his wife, also a good friend of mine, was at a lunch date at the tower today.
Oh my God!
At noon.
Oh my God!
Just freaky, huh, everybody?
Was he flipped out?
No, he seemed to be all right.
Was he drunk?
He was pretty high.
Okay.
Yeah. We all cope in our own way. Yeah. Let me ask you one quick question. Maybe someone can give me this answer. Maybe Drew can. When I was trying to call the Red Cross, and it was like 1-800 or 1-888 Give Life.
Give Life, yeah.
And I was dialing the number, and it was busy.
1-800 Give Life, yeah.
Yeah, and I dialed it a couple of times, and it was busy a few times. I figured, well, they got a lot of phone calls. But then I started thinking, wait a minute, Give Life. Isn't that 8?
Yeah. You just don't worry about that last E.
Oh, you mean, but I dialed it anyway.
Yeah, you dialed it anyway, just to remember the number.
Oh, I see, but you shouldn't dial it.
Don't have to dial it.
Yeah, I started freaking out. I thought, well, I'm dialing 8 numbers. It's not going to work.
Let's give Lift.
Yeah, Give Lift, 1-800 Give Lift.
Robbie?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on? 16 Maryland.
Yeah, I'm just getting over an anxiety attack.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather called me not too long ago telling me that my uncle, who lives in New York, was injured during the World Trade Center thing. He wasn't too specific. He was in a panic, and he didn't really give me that much information other than the fact that my uncle was injured. And, just getting over an anxiety attack, I don't think this is too good. And
So you have a history of anxiety attacks, or this is your first one?
This is my first one.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. You're saying just getting over it. You were having an anxiety attack?
Watching the TV broadcast, or what?
No, 2 days ago, I just sort of snapped, and I just sort of shut myself up in my room and locked the door, and I didn't want to talk to anyone, and my mom took me to my psychiatrist. My psychiatrist told me I was having an anxiety attack.
Okay, so you were already having problems, and then this sort of just accelerated all that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Why? Your mom didn't want to intercept that phone call coming from Grandpa?
My mom wasn't home at the time.
I see. Mm-hmm. So he had no details, just telling you.
He was panicking. My uncle is his oldest son, and he was panicking, and he didn't really.
Did he have any details? Can you call him back?
How did he know he was injured, but no details?
I don't know. My grandfather was the one who got the call, and.
Well, have you called him back since?
I can't get through.
Oh, boy. All right. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I assume he's alive, or he wouldn't have gotten the report saying he was injured.
Right, but the thing is, I'm worrying over, what his condition is. Is he seriously injured? Is he just mildly injured?
Do you have friends or anyone you can keep around you right now?
Yeah, I have one friend. I've been trying to call him all night, but I can't. Hopefully he's listening now and he'll get off the web. But
he's busy chatting on the web, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Robbie, you sound okay. Keep people around you. Our prayers go out for your uncle. It sounds pretty good to us. Because, the hospital reports were that people that were getting there mostly smoke inhalation, that kind of thing. So you either were sort of okay or it's game over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It seemed to me like it was that sort of like what happens in a plane crash. Either you're okay or you're dust. But it seemed like, most people were being treated for smoke inhalation. Sierra?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. You're 22. What's up?
I've just been living in the country for about 2-3 months now, and I don't know, it's just...
Oh, living in this country?
Yes, living in this country.
From?
New Zealand.
New Zealand,
right.
Okay, and I'm feeling sort of like quite a bit like Dr. Drew today.
Numb.
Completely numb. But I don't know, if you'd asked me a week ago, what I thought of the country, I would have said, there's so much infighting, and there's so much crap going on in this country right now, blah, blah, blah. But I've never seen in one day an entire nation pull together like this. I'm in complete awe. I come from a country of 3 million people, and 300 million people, have managed to just...
It's an interesting quality this country has always had. It's been its history really forever.
Yeah.
Is that, in fact, what you probably haven't heard, Sierra, is that people in this country will say things like, what we need is a good enemy to pull us together. You'll hear that in this country. People, you need somebody to, take our attention off our own crap and focus it externally. And here, boy, we got it now. Yeah,
I was amazed and touched, and it was the one good thing that happened today is people really seem to band together. And, here's the thing about the United States and I'd say people in general. They're pretty good. I think we get a bad shake. I think all human beings get a bad shake. But when the chips are down, 99% of people are really good. They really are. You hear about the 1% that's evil, but more than 99% of them are just decent people who care about other people, and when something like this happens, they risk life and limb trying to save strangers.
That's what's killing me is all the firefighters and policemen that went in there.
Yeah.
That is just an awful piece of the story.
Yeah, but I tell you, I was really touched by, the overcrowding at the Red Cross centers and people's just sort of general ability to pull it together. And I know there's been a lot of criticism lately of this country and this generation, and what if we had to fight another war? I don't think we could today with the attitude of the young people in this country and so on and so forth, the complacency. But I think we can rally. I really do.
This is an interesting call. No, I want to take this call before, just because it's pertinent to what we're saying here.
All right.
Gary, Ohio, 18.
Yeah.
Gary?
Yeah.
Hey, you're 18. What's up?
My question is about what's all been going on today.
Yeah.
When I woke up this morning, I seen that this morning, and I enlisted in the Army.
You watched the television and you ran out and enlisted?
Yeah. I had a staff sergeant come to my house.
Wow.
And I enlisted in the Army.
Was he busy today? Was he running around doing that? Was this an
He was running and doing that.
So this was not an unusual reaction.
What's he? Wait a minute. How's that work? Like the ice cream truck, but he drives a tank and goes up and down the street ringing a bell? He come over to the house?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they do.
I didn't want to say it, but I joined the Coast Guard today, Drew.
Oh,
this is my last night. Enjoy.
And I want to know if that's a good thing to do.
Look,
it's a good thing.
I would say, Gary, that it's a big decision, and it's not the kind of thing you want to make because you got fired up watching CNN this morning. But on the other hand, if you're 18 and you got nothing to do, why not?
I can
You didn't drop out of Harvard, did you?
No.
I can imagine that impulse at 18 being very strong, especially if you really felt a threat and.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
And I'll tell you what, if you have family in that building, what would stop you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what you go do.
You know what I was thinking? We got to take a break, but I was thinking, Christ, now we're going to go over there. Then we're going to bomb Iraq or drop something in Saudi Arabia or do something to Iran or go find Bin Laden or something like that. And I thought, gee, that'll feel good, and then it's going to feel real bad getting on an airplane for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you figure, all right, they will then come back. You know, they will forget how it started.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my strategy. Here's what I'd like to say to all these terrorist nations. All right, look, you killed a whole bunch of people. You blew up the World Trade Center.
You happy now?
Look, we could blow up your country. We're not going to do it. But let's put an end to this. I don't think they'd listen. Mm-hmm. I don't think the American public would enjoy that. Mm-hmm. I just fear we're gonna retaliate, and they're going to forget how this thing ever got started, mm-hmm. and they're going to want to retaliate against our retaliation. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, and I don't want to freak everybody out, but if you have people that are sort of don't care much about their own lives, and there's a technology in place today that can aid mass destruction, I really don't see how. And we live in a country with fairly open borders where we will not, segregate, discriminate, or do any of that. I mean, we're not going to do any Japanese internment camps of the 40s. I don't know what we can do about it. I just don't know. Today, I don't know what we could have done about it if someone would have told us, hey, sometime in the next 3 weeks this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. And what are you supposed to do, by the way, when you're the White House or the Pentagon and there's a United States of America passenger jumbo jet that is strayed out of its airspace? Right. Put a missile, put a sidewinder into it? You would assume, you don't know. You would assume the guy's having some mechanical troubles. I mean, you got about 10 seconds to make a decision, and I don't know who's going to push that button and send that plane into the ground. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more of your comments, questions, and feelings about the tragic events of today. Hey, it's Loveline. I'm Adam. That's Drew. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. We got to talk. We're talking tonight about the tragedies, the terrorist tragedies, the attacks on the United States that went down today, and that's basically what we're dedicating to tonight's show to. Your feelings about that, and as I said at the beginning of the show, we've all been tuned into the news sources today and getting lots of facts and tidbits and bites and information, but we haven't heard anyone talking about their feelings. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what this show's about, so that's what we're doing tonight. I was hearing a lot of speculation. Out here in Los Angeles, they shut down the airport, and they had everyone on tactical alert. There was some speculation that there might be something going down in Los Angeles because I guess all 4 of the planes were heading toward Los Angeles. Was it 3 out of 4? No, yeah. The 4th was going to Frisco, but Southern California. And I never thought there was going to be a problem. I assumed that the reason they targeted those planes is because they were coming from the East Coast and all
with all the fuel,
full of fuel.
Something happened out here. People are like, fat.
Number
thank you.
Number 2, I don't think the terrorist nations look at Los Angeles as part of the United States. That's really what I realized.
That's right.
Anyone who's ever been in Los Angeles, go downtown and walk around. You don't know where the hell you are.
That's right.
You really think you may be in Ecuador or Bangkok, Vietnam? You would not think you're in part of the United States. So I think for a terrorist organization to target Los Angeles would be redundant. They might as well just pick some place on the map and drop a bomb on it. They'd kill more Americans.
Multi-ethnic, multiculturalism has become our greatest defense right here in Los Angeles.
That's right. You can't kill us. We're you.
That's right.
All right, so that's one thought I had. And also I figured, look, these people are not going to pull off a big thing, put everyone on tactical alert, get everyone into the battle positions, and then do something 5 hours later. Yeah. The whole thing it's surprise. The number one thing terrorists have working for them is surprise, and I don't think that they're so stupid as to try to pull something off when everybody is, at the battle station.
I still have lingering concerns about biological warfare. Because they could do something weird just to show they could do it, even in tactical alert time.
But here's the thing. As I said, I really think the number one thing that the terrorists have is element of surprise and panic and that kind of thing. And they want to strike when waters are at their calmest.
Yeah.
And I don't think for this reason. Now, I know everyone's worried about further terrorist attacks in the next upcoming days, hours, and weeks. To me, this is the least probable time it would happen.
Yeah.
They'll do it a few years from now when the airport security has become lax again.
Unless, again, they just want to show that they can. Just throw a few more suicides at this.
But it's bang. Yes, but it's bang for their buck.
That's right.
They're not going to get as many.
That's right.
Okay. Hey, looks like Darren, the wayward drummer for Goldfinger's on the line. Oh, Christ. I got a piece of paper sitting at home on my desk that says, call Darren from Goldfinger. Well, he called me like 3 weeks ago.
No, you don't have to.
Told me to get his wife a job somewhere. And I haven't called him back yet. Darren?
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Darren.
Yeah, my wife wants to go into prostitution, but I'm not sure about that yet.
Go into? How about get out of?
Put the boom. Anderson?
Anderson, come on, give me the hi-hat. Thank you. Did your wife find a gig?
No, she's still looking for a job.
You know,
that's beside the point.
The man show's in hiatus, so I didn't have anywhere to send her. But I'm sorry, buddy. I know I owed you a call.
It's all good. You're busy.
Yeah, I was, but I was going to call.
Hey, Darren, what'd you call about?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say I'm just upset and angry about what happened, and I want to give my condolences to the families, the victims, and my prayers are with them. All day long I've been praying about it. I think I have a solution, maybe a partial solution, an idea. I think maybe people in the higher-ups, especially the people in the FAA, could run with this. They could make a plane or take all the planes that are America and gut them and make the cockpit door like a vault. And once the plane takes off, it is not opening until it lands. Now, make it like thick steel, and it will just not open.
Yeah.
They could still set up a bomb or something, but yeah, that would be wonderful.
Well, I thought of that. Say it's taken off and the thing is shut. It's got its own air system, it's airtight. A hijacker grabs the stewardess and gets on the phone and says, "Hey, pilot, I got this stewardess, and I'm gonna slit her throat and shoot everybody once a minute until you turn the plane around and land it in Cuba, or throw it into the Empire State Building, or land in downtown L.A." The pilot's protocol should be go ahead and try to land the plane as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
That way the plane doesn't become a weapon.
Yeah. I wrote on my little scratch pad here. Lock cabin door.
But those things are like bathroom doors. You can kick them in with your feet.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean put a little barrel bolt that your grandma's bathroom has on it. But I agree. I don't think you have to make the thing like a vault. You just have to make a good, sturdy metal door that remains locked at all times.
Yeah, but locked to the point where even like if they had a high-powered automatic weapon or a really big like crowbar,
but Darren, here's the problem. If they got an automatic weapon on board, there's a tragedy.
Yeah, and they can blow something up too.
Right,
the plane's going down.
No, I agree that they can shoot the passengers or shoot the.
But it's not a weapon.
It takes the weapon.
The point.
That's all they did today. They used the planes as a weapon.
Yep.
Right, and I mean, and this is going to help make your cabin door argument. All they had was utility knives or some kind of crudely fashioned knife. Yeah. You know, I mean, not much more than maybe if you took a letter opener and sharpened it up on a stone of thing.
Yeah, I heard they had X-Acto knives too, which is ridiculous.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you could buy this stuff at like a craft store.
Yeah. Yeah, they call them box cutters. And, I mean, that's some speculation. I guess maybe the person that called in from the cell phone.
Maybe only saw that.
And by the way,
do you think people would jump them?
You know,
I would.
They don't let you'd think so, but people are caught off guard.
And these may have been trained military guys.
And by the way, I don't want to be morbid here, but they tell you not to use the cell phones because it may affect the plane. I don't know if that had anything to do with the crash. I'm assuming it's okay to use the paper.
Maybe that's what brought the one down in Pittsburgh.
I'm sure they want you to use the cell phone.
I think what happened in Pittsburgh is the pilot said, enough's enough. I'm not going to be involved in this, and just took it down.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point. Maybe it was airplane turbulence that really...
Yes, we all know how dangerous that can be. I'll tell you, I was thinking about Pittsburgh, and I was just, they have cockpit voice recorders.
Yeah, they're trying to get that in Pittsburgh.
I believe. When they get that in Pittsburgh, they're going to find out
something.
Whether this guy crashed a plane or whether the guy couldn't fly the plane or
some sort of fight ensued.
Whatever went on. Yeah, but anyway, hey, Darren?
Yeah.
Did you have any friends or relatives out in the...
Yeah, I did actually. I made all my phone calls today, and everybody's safe and accounted for.
Good.
So, everything's good. All my relatives and family and friends are all
good.
Well, Darren, thanks for calling. We're going to get some more calls.
Did your wife find a job, though, seriously?
No, not yet.
All right. I'll call you then.
All right, Adam.
All right, Darren. Take
care,
buddy. Take care.
Jeez, I have just got the worst PTSD. I'm like...
Really?
Anxious and numb. And
But you're kind of prone to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that?
I'm an anxious person, but I'm like, I can't screen things out. It just gets in.
You feel responsible for a lot of stuff. Well, maybe not responsible, but
affected by.
Yeah, like when Drew and I go do one of these college tours or something, and we talk to 3,000 people at some college venue, and one person comes up to us after the show and says how much they hate Dr. Drew.
No, wouldn't the world be better off without you guys?
That's right. Some fat lesbo bitch who's hopped up on NyQuil comes up and critiques Drew after the show. Drew's ruined from that point on. Dinner's ruined. The flight home the next day is ruined. Everything's ruined because of this one crazy broad. Yeah, see, Drew, you can't go through life that way. Crow?
Yep.
You're 17?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
First of all, I just wanted to commend you guys for your service to teenagers during this heinous act that has been acted by whoever did this.
Well, thanks. It's our job.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I do have anarchist views, but first and foremost, I am a human, and this tragedy has affected too many people. I mean, not just people who were killed. I mean, they're estimating along the lines of 15 to 25,000 people that have died.
Is that what they're doing now? Oh,
yeah, I just caught the news, and they're estimating about that much.
I can't even. Those are numbers I can't even like.
It's really hard though, because I hear there's 300 firefighters missing, and then I switch the channel and there's 400 firefighters missing. Either way, there's tragedy.
It's bad, yeah.
I don't know if we can speculate numbers wise, but I would say between 10 and 25 at this point.
Guaranteed. And your theory about the black box? They're suspecting that the hijackers have ripped out the basically power cables to those, which in turn disable those. So if that's happened, we won't know.
So why are they suspecting that?
They something about the transponders being deactivated.
Huh. So they can't find the black box.
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, I'll tell you, if they find the one that went in, or the two that went into the World Trade Center, blew up amongst thousands of gallons of jet fuel and then fell a few thousand feet to the ground and were buried in 70 feet of rubble. If I was the manufacturer of that black box, I don't care if that would be my angle, advertising-wise. I mean, I would have a World Trade Center on the roof, not full size, on the roof of my building. I know it sounds morbid, but I would really be proud of that.
Yes.
The one in Pittsburgh, it seems like they're probably going to have the best chance of finding.
Yeah, because they believe the black box is only said to withstand about a certain amount of heat. They said that the ones at the World Trade Center exceeded that.
Yeah, they're not indestructible. They're just very well built.
To it.
Right. And so, man, I'm sure they're looking right now for the one in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, if this works, I mean, if this creates heightened awareness and heightened security and ultimately saves lives, down the road in the future, then the people that died did not die in vain.
I can't even go there, because how are you going to recoup 25,000 lives? It's going to take a lot of years of safety.
Yeah. No, I'm not, not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that
I can't even spin it positive. In fact, I'm sorry to pick on you, but I get angry when I have people out there spinning it positive. Even the press. It's like,
who spins it positive?
Well, there's a lot of people going, and now we're going to tighten down, and now we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And I'm like, hey, jackholes, why did this happen in the first place? People have been talking about this for years. Let's take a little responsibility for not having acted quicker on this. And this is just an awful, inexplicable catastrophe. Shouldn't have happened, and take some blame for it, and God damn it, it's not going to happen again.
Well, I'll tell you, the scenario of using the airplane as a missile, which all seems, incredibly obvious to everyone in the world at this point, did not apparently seem that obvious to everybody. There are
novels written about it. Clancy novels written about this terrorist act. This one.
Of taking
planes and running them into things. I mean, these were the plans of terrorists.
your everyday citizen was worried more about anthrax in the subway.
That's true.
And the folks that are in charge of this kind of thing did not seem to put a whole lot of stock in this either.
That's the problem.
And the fact that no, you couldn't get a gun into a plane, most likely, but I bet you I could get a fishing knife onto a plane.
Yeah, I'm too angry to let's take a little accountability on this too. Let's have a little remorse for not having been a little more on top of this too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're talking about the tragedies that went down today, and we're talking to you and your feelings about it. We'll talk more after this. Hey, everybody, it's Loveline. I'm Adam. That is Dr. Drew over there. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. We're taking calls about the event. Oh, I just belched up my coffee.
Nice.
Don't worry. No farting tonight.
I've noticed. I didn't want to remind you what last night was like. Speaking of tragedies, that was a I should have known something was going to happen today.
I didn't beat off today, by the way.
Wow, it's really affected you.
Yeah, now I got post-traumatic stress.
I thought you started
not
doing
from
more.
The events, from not beating off.
Yeah, you're kind of irritable.
Yeah, I'm on edge. All right, so we're taking your calls tonight about your feelings about what went on today and how it affected you or maybe people you know. And, you heard all day and all the news agencies talking about all the informations and statistics and things like that, but we're here to talk about feelings. Ed?
Yeah?
You're 15. What's up?
Yeah, Dr. Drew, you were talking about, like, that post-traumatic stress stuff.
Yep.
And, I've been feeling numb and I've been shaking.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Okay, well, I mean, I was just experiencing that, but I thought I was just kind of cold in my room.
No,
I'm wrapped up in, 4 blankets right now.
Yeah, it could be the pneumonia you're coming down with. But no, there's absolutely a syndrome of post-traumatic stress, and it's your body kind of shutting down and disconnecting from the feelings that are really overwhelming and frightening. And one of the best ways to combat that is just sit and talk about it with people that you care about, and that's sort of what we're trying to do here tonight, just be available to people.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much heading up, my high school because, a bunch of people have parents and people trapped up in New York. And so I've been calling, all my friends, getting a list going of, who needs to get up there, because we have, 3 or 4 carloads now.
Going to New York
tomorrow.
You can't really get in there very well, though, can you? Not in Manhattan, anyway.
No, well, but, I mean, they're setting up morgues and stuff, and, I mean, I was talking to one of my friends for, half an hour, and she couldn't speak, a word, the whole time. She was just crying.
Because somebody she knew was up there?
Yeah, her mom was up there.
In the building?
Yeah, she know her mom was in the building, then, and she hasn't gotten any word.
Does she know which building, the first hit or the second hit?
The first one.
The first hit.
Yeah.
First one people got out of, though, didn't they? A lot of people got out of that.
Well, the thing is the first hit, the good news about the first hit is, A, it was very high up.
Yeah.
Probably 80s in the 80s. So if you're below the 80s, you may have been okay. And 2, people should have immediately been evacuated
from that building.
Yeah, and I have other people one of my friends, her cousin was up on the 104th floor of the first building, and he actually called his family and said, "I'm not making it out of here." And then the line went dead, and they saw it crumble down to the ground.
Oh, my God.
He called, Drew, it took you a while to punch the mic tonight, by the way. He called from a line that was working in the building.
Probably.
He had, a satellite phone.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So this thing hit underneath him.
Yeah.
In the first building.
I mean,
those are the people jumping out the window.
What I've had to deal with today is way beyond.
Where are you? What part of Maryland are you in?
I'm in Crofton, Maryland. I'm 15 minutes from Washington and Annapolis.
What the hell was everyone doing up in New York? Why are all their parents up there?
Because I don't know. It's just me and my friends. We all have parents that kind of work the same places and stuff.
But would they commute to New York every day?
No, it's just there was a bunch of them up there on a trip for some meeting.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, and don't even get me started about the Pentagon, because I have so many people I had friends who drove down to Washington just to give people rides back from the Pentagon.
Well, yeah, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize is, you know, the Pentagon, people think of, you know, the admirals and four-star generals there. I mean, that place has 10,000 people working there.
People working, the secretaries and clerical people.
I mean, it's just sort of, in a way, like Oklahoma. You know, you think you're killing a bunch of IRS agents, and you're really killing a bunch of daycare workers and secretaries. That's 99% of the people that inhabit those buildings. Thank God, you know, today was like...
Keep up the good work, Ed.
Today was the only day I thought, thank God the Carollas are losers. One time, my folks strayed out of North Hollywood into Van Nuys, but they came right back.
Running back.
I don't have to worry. I know. I didn't even talk to any of them today. I know exactly where they are. They're sitting in their crappy homes in North Hollywood.
Oh, my God.
World Trade Center. I don't think my dad's been in a two-story building before. All right, we're going to take ourselves a break. Good luck, Ed. And really, get the help that you need, please.
And for your friends, more importantly.
Absolutely. We'll be back. Hey, it's Loveline. I'm Adam. That's Drew. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. We're talking, of course, tonight about today's tragic events, and we've dedicated the show tonight to that topic. So, as I've stated before, we've all been watching the news and hearing about the death toll and speculation and black boxes and terrorists and jet fuel and all that. But we're talking about the more emotional side of it, the human side of it, and how it affected you. Jesse?
Hi.
You're 12. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Jesse.
Well, you know, that's the other thing. One of the things I noticed today, you never notice how often somebody says, how you doing? And you go, good. And then you stop and you think, well, I'm not doing that good.
I'm barely hanging in.
Then you say, well, should I correct it, or should I just let the guy go get me the crap behind the counter and get on my way?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this morning, every morning I listen to Kevin B, and every night I listen to you guys. And this morning I turned it on, and it just came onto the station. They said something about an airplane hitting a building, so I turned on the news, and I found out what happened, and I listened for the rest of the morning. I was in the car going to school, and I was thinking about you know, what it means for all these people to die.
Yeah.
And I was astounded. So then I get to school, and everyone's like, "Whoa, do you hear how cool that is, man?"
How cool?
Yeah, but they're not thinking about how the people died, and I was like, you know, it's really not all that cool. And I was thinking, you know, we're really not as impenetrable as we thought we were, and you know, it's just, I thought, are they going to rebuild the Twin Towers? Could they start another world war? You know, because of how we think it was the Arabians or something.
Well, there's probably going to... We're effectively at war now, Jesse. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's going to be what you imagine a world war, I don't think so, do you? I mean, who knows?
No. I mean...
People aren't going to take that kind of risk right now.
Well, they also, whatever countries that are on our short list of retribution do not have the facilities to have a world war with us. It's the question is how much, how long, and where do we want to do the damage? Not whether they're going to bring it over here, or whether we're going to have to, you know, recruit young people to go in and fight this war.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be, you know, pretty surgical and painless to us. That is, not to whoever's on the other end of those bunker busters that we send out from our F-14s. Is not going to be in great shape.
And the rebuilding the towers, it's going to be a long time before that area is rebuilt, I would imagine.
You wonder too whether they will memorialize it. I assume they will.
Yeah.
On the other hand, and thanks for the call, Jesse. On the other hand, you know, part of this country, and one thing that makes this country great is we get back, we dust ourselves off, we get back up on our feet, and building two more would really be a statement to the world that you can't knock us down. Yeah. On the other hand, I really wonder...
do we really want to put those targets up again?
On the other hand, real estate being the way it is in that part of the country, that part of the world, can you afford to take 25 city blocks and make a park out of it right there?
No, but maybe they could build something else that incorporates a memorial and something that says something.
Yeah,
but isn't a target.
Now, as far as the kids, and I understand where they're coming from.
The kids thinking it's cool.
Yeah, because it was done. It was such a spectacular event.
I mean, Anderson and I were watching it, with the tape for the millionth time, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's CGI." I mean, computer-generated graphics.
Well,
we're used to seeing that on film.
It's the only reference point your mind has is 4th of July or whatever, Independence Day, things like this. I mean, the only representation of that kind of destruction we've seen is human beings who did not fight in World War II is film. Yeah. And that looked... to me, it was, Fireball and Jesus Christ, a fully loaded, jumbo jet heading right in the side of the World Trade Center. I mean, it looked like a Hollywood.
And then the whole thing going down. It's like, can this happen?
I know, and it makes me think how many times and how many recent movies that building has come down. And I believe there was a Meteor movie. The hell movie was that? Armageddon and 4th of July. Independence Day. And then there was the what was the other one? Oh, Con Air. Con Air. That building went down. All right. Okay, Anderson, quiet down over there with the Con Air. The great.
But you asked about the kids thing. It's cool.
The great Waldo Pepper.
My kids, I think, don't want to deal with it. They don't want to distance themselves. It's too overwhelming, too scary. My kids were. I went to their school, pick them up today. Just sort of how things go on, talk to their teachers and stuff. My boys wanted to go to this sort of afternoon camp they go to sometimes. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Get away! We're going to camp. Go away. Going to camp."
Yeah, like, I don't think 8-year-old kids can process this.
When they do, they get upset, and then they go away from it.
Right. Yeah, and I think for young kids that this kind of, on the other side of the country at least, catastrophic stuff is better than the one serial killer that's on the loose in their area.
Could be.
In terms of freaking them out. Because they don't understand the numbers game.
Right.
Okay, let's go to Steve, who's 44. Steve?
Hey, Adam. Hey, Dr. Drew.
Steve.
One thing that kind of struck me, I was really angry this morning, and I ended up donated some blood at Children's Hospital, and then this afternoon I was just really depressed. But one thing that struck me is how originally they were showing the Palestinians dancing in the streets when they found out about this, and then it seemed the networks completely put a lid on that afterwards.
Yeah,
I just was so outraged and just amazed. I mean, it really brought home just how. Clear to anybody who has any question in the United States that there's people out there who have evil intent and, at us in general.
Yeah, I feel the same way you do. Of course, I feel outraged, and nobody hates other races more than me. But you got to realize that was such a small percentage of that population.
I think that's what they wanted to avoid, was the idea that represented the Palestinian response.
And, Yasser Arafat got out there and condemned it for what that was worth. But I think that what the news agencies did is they jumped on that originally and early and then realized it was a little bit irresponsible in the sense that you're talking about literally
a few
dozen people, a few hundred people in the nation of millions that were representing that nation.
Yeah.
And that the majority of those people in that part of the world did not feel this way. And
we hope. We don't know that. We hope. I would assume.
I can safely say the majority of people in the world are family, sort of decent people.
Yeah.
They certainly have a higher percentage in that part of the world. And if you really think about it, if you're just talking about 1/10 of 1% of the population, you got a serious problem. And it still leaves over 99% of that region as good, decent, hardworking people.
Right.
So it's tough. And when it comes to, retaliation, how do you leave that 99.9% out of it?
Yeah. I thought it was also interesting in Bush's discussion how he went from saying we're just going to go after the terrorists, but also those countries that harbor the terrorists.
I think that's the key. Dianne Feinstein really articulated that repeatedly and clearly as the new policy.
I think it's Feinstein, by the way.
Feinstein.
And I do, I think that was him basically saying, look, we're going to take out a few targets here, and it's not just going to be bin Laden's place.
Yeah.
We're going to take out a few places, and it's game on.
Yeah.
To me, I read that to him. I read that as him saying, when you come back and ask me why we hit these targets a week from now, I'm going to say refer to the footage where I said the countries that harbor them are enemy.
Yeah.
Enemy number one, too. All right. Thanks, Steve, and appreciate you going and giving blood.
Yeah, we got to all do that.
I was close to. I got a couple busy signals and then got distracted. Jason?
Hey, yeah.
You're 15. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm watching all this stuff on TV, and I'm not feeling a thing. I'm seeing these people jumping out of the buildings and flying down 50, 60 stories, hitting the ground. I'm just like, nothing.
Because you don't feel like it's really happening, or is that...
No, I know it's happening. I just...
It doesn't relate to you? Do you have things that do upset you?
Not really.
So nothing affects you?
Pretty much.
Well, I'm sort of like you in that I just almost can't feel it. I mean, I feel bad for those people, but it's...
Yeah, I don't even feel bad. I mean,
you get nothing.
Seems really heartless, but, I mean, I just don't feel bad.
Do you...
I mean, I'm kind of, like, pissed off at the people that did it, but that's always my response to, like, something screws with our country, we're going to go blow them up or something like that.
So the only feeling you have is anger?
Pretty much.
You get to have anger.
Yeah.
Does it worry you that you don't have feelings about this sort of thing?
Sometimes. It's the only thing I was confused because why everybody else is like, well, we're so sad. I mean, our parents were in there, and I'm like, okay, should I be feeling something like that too, or what?
Yeah.
Well, there's no right or wrong feeling, but it does suggest that you may have some other things you're feeling that you're not so in touch with right now, and it may sort of tie you up and make you unable to empathize with other people.
Well, here's the thing, too, Jason, because I'm a little bit like you a lot of the time. I don't feel enough stuff sometimes, and I feel bad about it. That's actually, I do have the feeling about feeling bad about not caring about stuff.
As long as you have that goes along with it, I'm okay with it.
But here's...
Because I feel bad about feeling too much.
All right, well, we even out. Maybe you're taking some of my feelings. You're copping my feelings.
You have right back.
But here's where the danger comes in people like Jason is I really don't care that Jason doesn't feel badly about the situation. I don't think it's the greatest attribute to have, but I don't feel that bad about him not feeling that bad about it. If it enabled, if not having bad feelings about it, though, made it okay for him to do something bad to somebody, then it's a problem. Do you see what I'm saying?
Say that again. If
I don't feel bad about things that I should feel bad about,
right?
But I would never dream of hurting anybody,
right? But you can go to being able to
just because it doesn't make me feel bad doesn't mean I don't know other people are going to feel bad if I do something bad to them.
Right.
Now, some people don't feel bad about anything, therefore it's okay for them to act a certain way.
Yes.
And that's where it gets dangerous.
Yes.
And what I want to ask Jason is he may not feel anything, but do you respect other people, the feelings they have, and would you ever, hurt anybody because you don't have those feelings?
I respect the other people, and I don't think I'd hurt anybody unless they really pissed me off.
Pissed you off. So he gets the anger.
Okay, so you're just numb, but you're not dangerous.
Not unless you do something that really
that pisses him off.
like sneeze?
No, like...
I keep asking him stupid questions.
Okay, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I actually I have great frustration with people like Jason. It just frustrates me. I don't know what to do with them.
I understand where he's coming from, and like I said, I'm guilty of that myself, but I would never impose it on anybody.
Being the way he is.
What I mean is I personally realize that I don't have strong enough feelings about a lot of things, and I don't look at that as a great attribute.
For you?
No, I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I would never try to put anybody out with that.
I understand.
I would never say, well, look, I don't care, so it's okay for me to screw you over because I don't give a rat's ass about you. I don't think that's right. This is, for people like Jason, that's his own problem. He can't impose that on other people.
That's right.
I was watching TV today, and I was hearing about those poor souls that were up in the airplane for, they were saying up to an hour, some of them, after knowing the plane had been hijacked and all that stuff. I was hoping that they would assume that the thing was being taken to Cuba and landed. I would assume that if you were in the plane and somebody was flying the plane, even if it was a hijacker flying the plane,
you would think
assume it was not going to fly into the World Trade Center. And I hope that being stuffed in the back of the plane, that they hopefully did not know about that until, maybe never or the very last seconds. And then I was thinking about the guys up at the top of the World Trade Center while the place was burning and they were having to jump out 100 stories and that stuff. And, Drew, I've talked to you about wanting to keep the cyanide capsule in my Jeep.
Maybe then now's the time for that.
Just keeping it there in case the wheels come off the wagon. I open my door 15 years from now and my 14-year-old son is blowing the dog. You know what I mean? Just chomp right down on that thing. Back of the plane, and Muhammad is stuck a shiv in the throat of the pilot, and I can see out of the passenger window that the World Trade Center is on fire, and we're heading into the next one. Right on down. Right on down.
Why not? Why not?
It ain't the world's worst idea.
No.
Maybe not in your chin, because like you'd hit a speed bump in your car and
airplane turbulence,
and kill yourself. But maybe somewhere in your wallet.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm with you.
Mike?
Yes.
You're 23.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, Mike.
I just had something to say about this. Back in 1995, I was actually one of the Red Cross volunteers. I was the first security team the Red Cross ever had in Oklahoma City.
Was Oklahoma City 95?
Yeah, it was.
Can you believe it? 6 years ago.
Jesus, World Trade was 93, the first one.
Yeah.
And then 95, now 201. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, guys, this stuff, for one thing, it really digs up some things. I saw some stuff out there. Never did really quite get into the site and find bodies or anything, but, still, there's a lot of things out there I know this is bringing up a lot of stuff here in this state at least, but one of the things I want to talk about that's just been driving me mad is how people are, they're talking now about how this airport security is now actually should be a national security issue, and they're just now starting to do something with that. How come they haven't done something already with National Security Agency? They already know about these terrorists.
Did you hear me yelling about this about 20 minutes ago? I was saying the exact same thing.
No, I sure didn't.
I'm pissed off. I'm really pissed off at two things. One is, hey, have some remorse and take some responsibility for the fact that you let it down. Now, don't tell me what you're going to do. First say, you know what, we effed up, we should have been on top of this, and because we screwed up, we're going to compensate, and damn it, it'll never happen again. And secondly, the other thing the government was saying that just killed me was, well, today's not the day to ask who did this.
Yeah, Drew was pitching a fit in here.
Really? Today's not the day? When the hell is it the right time to ask who did this? It is going to be an awful catastrophe for the next 10 years. We're going to be mourning forever. Today's the day of shock and asking who the hell did this.
They will find somebody, whether it's the right person or not, I can't say, but they are going to find somebody for this.
Well, and listen, I was saying to Drew during the break, and by the way, for those of you listening to the show, we have our best poignant conversations during the break of the show. We actually like to save up during the show so we have some good energy to really go at it during the commercial breaks when you all can't hear us. But I was saying to Drew, human nature is, I don't want to make excuses, but human nature is something has to go horribly wrong in order for people to wake up and do something, and this was it. And man, this was it in spades. You would I would assume that something would have to go wrong in order for something to happen, and you would hope that it was one plane, and you would hope that it went in. Here's just the one plane going into the field outside of Pittsburgh. That would have been enough to do it, but this was totally catastrophic, and unfortunately, we got taught a huge, huge lesson here, and it will. But also, Mike, as far as airport security goes, I mean, these guys had things that weren't really considered weapons.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, see, behind my idea, these people are already known. I mean, the CIA, FBI, whoever, they already know about these people, regardless of what you hear in the newspapers or the radio, whatever. They know who they are. And if you put something, if you link the two computer systems together, they run the, they say, okay, let me see your ID. They look at the names. Okay, sir, we need you to step over here and talk to airport security for a minute before you board the plane.
Right.
It's not necessarily invasion of privacy. It's more of, okay, we're trying to save our...
And by the way, there's a lot of talk about not rewriting the Bill of Rights. If we are actually in a state of war, Abraham Lincoln recalled the writ of habeas corpus, for God's sake. I mean, you can do things in a state of war to protect people.
All right, a couple of things. And, everyone should be aware of this. And I said this to Drew again during the break. I said, people would be safer driving cars if they wore crash helmets. And you can't argue with me on that. But at what point do you stop? And I know we've not done enough, but realize that millions and millions and millions of Americans and other nationalities pass through our airports every day, and that if you slow that process down by even 5%, it's going to make a huge impact on everybody. And if you start doing all the, submachine gun armed guards and stuff, eventually we just become them. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And I know there's...
But we're not them.
No, we're not, but they have won at that point when we become a police state.
No, not if we do it for a while. You know what I mean? If we permanently do it.
No, I think you have to pick and choose your battles. I think reinforcing the lock on the cabin door that leads into the cockpit, or flight deck, as they started calling it, because they like to get the word out of air travel.
Right, out of the lexicon of English language.
That's right. If they retrofit all those doors, which I'd imagine they're doing, I hope they're doing tonight. If they retrofit all those doors with a security lock and put some more stringent
steel.
Regulations in place regarding keeping that closed, there's a good practical move that's not going to slow down airport traffic that may potentially save lives. And it's that kind of thing that I would be all for. And as people have brought up, anyone who's done any traveling knows that it is the bottom of the barrel that works airport security. And not only airport security, all security. Go to a concert, try to get backstage. Go to an airport, try to get through a metal detector. This is the bottom of the barrel. And I think there's not an air traveler on this planet that would not agree to pay an extra $20 on their commute from L.A. to New York to have a little higher grade of human being, a little more training, a little more education, and a little more on the ball.
Nice. More on the ball.
Yeah, my mic just broke in half working that metal detector. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back. We'll talk to you more about your feelings about what went on today. Loveline. Oh, boy, Drew depressed. I'm depressed, too, but Drew's really depressed.
I think I'm harming you with my depression. It's not depression.
You got pills to take tonight?
I hope so. The cyanide pill you were talking about, or
that's 5 years from now when your daughter gets her first boyfriend.
And this is I'll keep it handy then. This isn't depression for me. This is just emotional. I'm just emotional. I absorb people's stuff. And
you were absorbing my stuff last night.
Yeah, you were powering it out too.
Part of a storm in here last night. Oh well, we're all. I think people are either sort of numb or they're reeling in pain. And we're talking to people, and this includes us, who as of yet don't know that we've even lost anybody that may be close to us or even remotely close to us. Imagine those that had loved ones in that building.
Yeah, I mean, what are they doing tonight? What are they doing? What are people? Why?
I'll tell you, not that there's anything good that came from any of this, but I was surprised initially that those 4 jumbo jets had about an average of 50, 60 people on board each one, which I was...
They were 757s. They're all 757s, I think. Or at least three.
I heard one was a 767.
I heard that too,
which is a good size plane.
I also heard one was a 747 that I heard not.
No,
but you look at the ones that the one you just saw. We watched some footage during the commercial break. That was a 757.
Looked like it. Yeah, not a huge plane.
No,
but holds more than 50 people.
Usually, yeah.
I mean, Drew, when's the last time you got on a flight heading to L.A.?
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, I would have been delighted if I got on that plane and saw, five open rows. I mean, Drew, any flight that we've been on in the last 3 years has been packed to the rafters.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have told me that 4 good-sized airplanes went down from 4 good-sized airports heading to L.A.
800.
That's it. 200 people a plane would have been a conservative estimate.
Yeah.
The fact that there was 50 or 60 on each plane was so far the only good news I've heard. Tara?
Hi.
Hey, you're 29.
Yeah. First of all, I just wanted to say thanks, you guys, for doing this. This is so wonderful. I've been a huge fan. I've listened to you guys every night for the last 3 years, and I kind of consider you guys like my best friends almost. It's kind of sad, but
because that's the only friends you have, or because schmucks like us would be your best friend?
I don't know, probably both. No, so it's just so wonderful to hear you guys and be able to talk to you and say thank you. And I was wondering that the kid who called in earlier who said he wasn't feeling anything, how much of that is a defense mechanism? Because I've been I was home all day watching the news myself, and just because it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And maybe he was 15, I remember.
I mean, what you're feeling is more the PTSD numbness. Your body numbs and goes into this sort of mode of feeling like it's a dream. It's not real.
Right.
It's surreal. And that's a protective mechanism your body has. It's a way of detaching. It's what kids do when they're sexually abused. They detach. I mean, it's that same mechanism that kicks in. And when you're an adult and it kicks in, it's protective and it's a defense. He at 15 is saying that he just doesn't feel anything about people. And that's a little bit scary. Thankfully, people exist to him. So some kids, other people don't even really exist. If they destroy them, whatever.
Yeah.
This kid at least acknowledged other people exist. He would protect them from his feelings, but he had the Carolla syndrome of empathic failure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, well, I thought it was so endearing that Adam said he'd called the blood bank to call. I started to tear up because Adam does have a heart. He does. He
just said that. He didn't actually call today.
Oh, okay.
He just figured he'd manipulate the listeners.
Oh.
I told him not to say that on the air, didn't I, jackass? No, I did. I called a couple of times today, and something. Not that I need to defend myself, but maybe I should. I used to give blood on a regular basis for quite a many number of years for no reason other than I just thought it was a good thing to do. And I had a Catholic little brother and all that stuff before any of this stuff.
Adam has always been clear about his lineage. Is that the Carollas are slackers, but they're decent people.
That's right. Right, and I called, and then I called a few times, and it was busy, and then I just sort of didn't know what to do.
Let's you and I go tomorrow and make a point out of it.
Yeah, I'll do that. Also, I will. I also heard that in news reports later on in the day that they were turning people away,
right.
that the line was going around the block, and so on and so forth, and it was the same deal in New York. So maybe this is just convenient rationalization.
Well,
but I thought, well, if they're turning people away, they're doing all right.
No, hey, listen, we're going to go. I'm O positive too, so they need my stuff.
All right.
What are you?
I don't know.
You gave blood all the time?
Yeah, I did.
You have a card?
How dare you? Are you questioning me?
No, I just wonder why you didn't. Thanks, Tara.
I had a blood type that apparently was
rare,
and that they needed. And so I used to give every 6 or 7 weeks, whatever the time period was. They would call me, the place in Van Nuys would call, and I'd head over there and do it. And I stopped because they called me once. Well, also I had a theory, which was, I'd say to the guy, how come I only get to come every 6 or 7 weeks? And he'd say, well, it takes 6 or 7 weeks for you to replenish what we took last time. Then I said, okay, so as soon as the day I replenish what you took last time, I'm back giving more. I'm always running at kind of half a tank now. That at least was my theory. But they called me to come down there and said, come on down, we need some more. And I said, fine. And I got down there, and the guy said, you're a day early. And I said, well, I'm down here, and I took half a day off work, so let's do it. And he said, no, come back tomorrow.
That's the ultimate Carolla violation.
And I said, look, I'm giving this stuff for free, and I've been doing it for a while, and I'm busy, and I can't come back tomorrow, so let's do it today. And he said, nope. And I said, you know what? Your people called me and told me to come down. And the guy said, nope. And I said, well, I ain't coming back tomorrow.
This is what you hate. It's following the letter as opposed to the spirit.
That was about 8 years ago, and they haven't gotten a pint since. And that's what you get when you screw around with that letter of the law crap.
I used to give blood, too, all the time. And they sent me home once because I had blue hair. They said they want to take any blood from blue-haired people.
They thought you had hepatitis.
Yeah.
Jesus
HIV.
That's funny.
You're a drug user, Anderson.
That I appreciate, though. Mike?
Yeah.
You're 15. What's going on?
Yeah. Hey, you guys are, great, Adam, you're great. You're a god, of course.
Thank you.
I think it's really great that you guys are doing this whole emotional talk about this whole thing. I've been watching TV for the last 6 hours, and it's all a bunch of political analyzation, and I'm sort of sick of it. But
well, Drew was saying, I hate to cut you off, but here goes again. Drew was saying during the break, I think, that he was a little bit upset at the news coverage, and even the president's speech. And all the politicians have had on.
Sanitized.
Yeah, there's no more human tragedy than what went on today. Let's speak like humans.
Yeah, let's let it rip here. Is there ever time to be real? This is it.
I mean, look, I'd like to see a senator up there. I'd like to see him shed a tear. I'd like to see someone say, hey, listen, I'm pissed off, and I want to see somebody pay for this.
And you know what? I'm mad at myself for not seeing this coming. I take responsibility. I'm remorseful that I didn't do something sooner.
Yeah, it's like, right now we have to take appropriate measures to make sure that people are paid back, and God willing, if we all say a prayer, it just sounds like more politicians just talking heads, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so what do you want to say, Mike? I'm sorry.
I just want to say thank you very much to everyone across the entire country for putting in their time, for donating blood. Like, I personally have donated blood and done volunteer work at my local Red Cross. And probably the best thing said today was George Bush when he said, you can melt, and this is roughly translated, you can melt the steel of our buildings, but you can't dent the steel of American spirit. And, I thought that was very true.
Yeah, and I thought, for me, one of the most moving calls of our night tonight was Sierra from New Zealand, surprised at the way we all react to this. That was really interesting, I thought.
And without sounding like some country singers about to break into a song about how much I love this country, I'll tell you something, and we should all take note here. This country didn't get to be the country it is by us rolling over when the chips were down.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a scrappy country, and I think we lose sight of that sometimes. And we get a little bit caught up in crap.
Yeah.
And we get mired in... This is a country that, although we're I consider the number one nation in the world, we like to beat up on ourselves.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of naysayers here. But I'll tell you, when something needs to get done, we do a real good job at getting it done.
Here's the big thing, is tomorrow we're going to find out who our friends are. Tomorrow.
You mean internationally?
Yeah. And I swear to God, anybody that does not co-sign outrage at this whole day, forget it. We can never have a relationship with them again.
Yeah, you think France will deny us flying over their airspace to get to Libya again? Those pussy frogs over there. Listen, here's the deal. Anybody who may be in a different country listening to the show, it's time to pay the fiddler. We've been bailing your sorry asses out for the last 100 years. Now we need a hand. Let's go now.
It's time.
It's payback time.
This is time.
And by the way, you just letting us fly over your country is not really what you call a great contribution. And it may be something as simple as that. France did not let us fly over their airspace when we were going to bomb Libya some years ago, and I just thought, how dare they? How dare those cowardly frogs do that after what we did for them in World War II? How dare they? All right. And World War I, for that matter, too. Damien?
Yeah.
You're 20. What's up?
Yeah, I heard his comment about somebody made a comment about the military being lazy.
Not on this show.
Oh, well, I just want people to know out there that, you know, what happened today was, you know, really messed up, and that everybody in the military here is working hard to make sure that none of this stuff is going to happen again. And,
no. We were complaining about the senators and the government sort of not taking some responsibility for you know, some of what happened, and for dropping the ball a little bit in terms of their planning.
Are you in the military?
Yes, I am.
What branch are you in?
I don't want to disclose that at this time.
All right.
Fine. Normally Adam would hang up on you, but it's fine tonight.
Do you have any plans? I mean,
what's going to happen tomorrow?
They talk to you about anything?
No. I mean, we're on, like the president said, we're on high alert, and we can't, and we're going to be working hard. I mean, non-stop work for us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Good. Are you thinking they may be shipping you off somewhere?
No, me personally, no, I don't.
But some fellas you know may be heading out soon enough?
It's possible.
All right. Well, God bless you.
All right, thanks.
God bless this country and the military. You know what I was thinking of while I was watching the news tonight? They said that we're on Delta alert, which is the highest alert. First off, how many goddamn things does Delta mean to the military? Because it seems to mean about 150 things.
Delta Factor.
Delta Force.
Delta Alert. Whatever to DEFCON.
DEFCON's around, too. We were on, like, DEFCON and Delta. And here's my take. And here's what I was trying to figure out. I mean, you help me. Maybe someone can understand this. In the military world, they basically do, like, the Alpha and the Delta, and they do all this stuff. And Delta, to me, is the D.
That's just D, yeah.
That's just the D signification.
Right.
Since when does D represent the highest alert?
Of anything.
Shouldn't it be A or 1? Why D? There's a bunch of letters in front of D before you get to A.
There must be some...
Delta is just pretty much means...
What if Delta means like a fan, like an alluvial fan is a Delta?
Well, Delta...
Maybe it's a fanning out process, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not the...
I don't know. I mean,
maybe it's not the letter.
Delta, which means triangle, you mean?
No, Delta, like the Mississippi, on you know...
I know, but they just call that a Delta because of its shape.
Yeah, it fans out. And maybe this is a fanning out of military...
But the Delta just means triangle, basically.
Yeah.
All right, well, anyway.
No.
Okay, somebody figure out that Delta and that DEFCON. Oh, Christ, am I quite okay. I swear to Christ, Anderson, this thing missed my nuts by half an inch. Do you understand? I have a 45-pound mic stand. I just lifted it up and leaned forward, and the thing fell right through my legs and almost pinned one of my nuts. You would have... Yeah.
Laura's dog already tried to bite him tonight.
Yeah.
It's the whoopee mic.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back.
Here we are.
Loveline. I'm Adam. That is Drew over there. We're talking about the events of today.
Go ahead and put line 2 on hold, please. Tara?
Drew, let me talk to you.
There you are.
Put him on hold.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning, and I had a couple of strange things happen. A, as you know, I sleep with an egg timer as my alarm clock, and the battery went dead in the middle of the night.
Oh, no.
And I woke up late this morning, and I had a dream last night. I didn't bring this up earlier, and I'm not going to make much of it, but it was weird. I did have a dream of I watched a plane crash.
No.
Yes, absolutely. And it was one of the... It was probably, because then I woke up shortly after that and looked at the clock. It was about 7:30 in the morning. So it would have been after the plane's crash. Now, I have a dream of plane crashes 4 or 5 nights a week. I have 2 dreams. I watch a plane crash, or a pit bull latches on to my shin bone and will not let go.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if I'm lucky, there's a pit bull attached to my calf muscle while I watch a plane crash.
Right.
But I absolutely unequivocally watched a plane in a big jumbo jet go into the ground this morning in my dreams at about 7:30 in the morning. Could have been 6:45. Could have been actually when it was happening, or it could have been just moments afterward. It's just interesting that somehow that's what I decided to dream about. And I've spent the entire day watching planes crash, essentially. It was very bizarre to wake up after my plane crash, a dream, and start hearing about all these planes going down. First message I got when I woke up was my stepmother on my phone. It said 7:30 in the morning, and my first thought was, this is why I shut my ringer off. I remember thinking, stepmom, 7:30 in the morning. And it was very cryptic. It said, turn on the news. And it hung up. No, it said, turn on the TV. And it hung up. And I thought, me being me, I must be on TV.
All over TV, everywhere.
And I thought, wonder why she didn't give me a station. I mean,
you got mad at her, in fact.
No, I'll find me, I thought. So I walked over and turned the set on, and there was everybody, and I was glad it wasn't me I was looking at that point. Michael?
Yeah.
You're 34?
Correct.
You're going to tell us about the Delta designation.
From when I was in the military and the fact that I've got friends who work in emergency services, Delta is like 1 or 2, I don't remember exactly how many, steps below martial law.
Right. And I understand it's always Delta means is the time when it's really getting hairy. And thank you, Michael. I'm just wondering why
Delta?
Delta, which is D. Why not Alpha or Beta? What about Alpha?
Or Omega? Just go down the alphabetical ways.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the military loves saying Delta. Daniel?
Hi.
You're 15?
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, I was, well, first of all, I'd just like to say, you guys' show is awesome.
Thank you.
And, like, early today when, I guess, they, assaulted the planes with knives, I was kind of I don't know, it was kind of stupid because, well, I don't think they, told the people they were going to blow something up because I think if the people knew they were going to die,
well,
I mean, people are, heroic, you know.
Yeah.
They can be, yeah.
Here's I think, the logic. What happened is the terrorists told the passengers they had bombs on them, and if they tried anything, they'd blow the plane up.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that happened?
That's what the phone calls said. But then...
I never heard that either.
Then... this one guy, I forget his name, that talked to his mom in San Francisco. She told him about the World Trade Center. No, I'm sorry. It was the one. It was some. I think it was the Pentagon. The Pentagon. The woman whose husband was the attorney.
Hear something about that.
That he said, look, there are 2 other buildings that they ram planes into. You know,
right?
Look alive, do something, and that's when they got disconnected.
And is that the one that went down in Pittsburgh?
I don't know. I think it's the one that... I don't know.
It seemed like to me that the other pilots that were on the air in the Pittsburgh, one that went down outside of Pittsburgh was the last one to go in, I believe, were aware of the other planes that went in.
Yeah.
And maybe no coincidence that one didn't make its target.
Right. Somebody went in. And if you look at its last few minutes in the air, it was jockeying around. So...
Oh, my God.
Like there was some struggle going on.
How do you deal with that mentality? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the only way to deal with that mindset is to blow it off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks.
Take care of yourself. Let's talk to Sean. Sean?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you're 20. What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm sure the whole country is appreciative of what you're doing tonight, giving us a way to vent and express how we feel.
It's going to be hard not to do this again tomorrow night.
Yeah, we may do it some tomorrow night. And listen, people have been calling and thanking us. Thank you for listening, because this is nothing. I mean, we've just been wanting to get in here and talk about this the whole day.
Right.
And this is nothing we wouldn't be doing anyway.
Well, I just wanted to bring up a point. I spent the entire day with my friends discussing this. Some of them has family out in New York or went at school out in New York. And we came to a conclusion that, in a sense, this event is our generation's Pearl Harbor. It's something that motivates us. It brings the country back together under one belief, under patriotism, and remembering what our country is about.
Absolutely.
It certainly melts away some of the differences, when you have a common enemy like this.
Yeah, and I do think we spend way too much time in this country, like I said earlier, beating ourselves up, talking about how racist we are and how unfair we are to the other parts of the world. and how we're polluting things, and we really kick the crap out of ourselves. We're like, we're like some big, good-looking jock who has low self-esteem, and it really is. We really are. We're like the big man on campus, but we have such low self-esteem we can't get a date to the prom.
Yeah.
Is this getting cathartic now, Drew? Now you want to see me cry? I'm really going to start crying. But Pearl Harbor was what, 1,300 men? Or maybe that was in the Missouri, or the...
but it was 2,500 military men, though, remember.
I know, and you make that distinction, and they tell them, though.
I know.
This guy was, they're eating pineapples and playing ukuleles and sunbathing, and there's a bunch of 19-year-old guys who didn't feel like going to junior college, and they're getting their heads blown off.
Right.
But 2,500, and we don't know what the death toll is going to be, but I guarantee it, if it's 4 times that much...
We'll be lucky.
We will be lucky. So this is quite a bit more catastrophic than Pearl Harbor was to us. Also, we've never had anything brought to the continental United States.
Ever. I don't think people fully appreciate that.
World War II, they did, Japanese did float a few bombs that blew up in the Pacific Northwest that killed like a couple of campers or something. But we didn't really we haven't, a couple submarines firing a thing or two into some place outside of Poughkeepsie. But we haven't had anything in this country.
Mm-hmm.
This is it, and hopefully this is the biggest. So we'll be back to wrap up with you. All right. Well, it felt good.
Yeah, felt right.
Yeah, it felt right. I'm glad you all stuck with us and let us
those 3 of you that are left
from our format. I don't have anything too poetic to quote, no platitudes from the Bible, but I do know that this is a strong country, and this is not nearly enough to bring us down. And those of you who are fearful right now, as I was saying to Drew, those of you who are scared to go to your work or to your school tomorrow,
fear not.
Yeah, this, as far as terrorists go, their plan is wait till you fall asleep and then strike at a vulnerable spot. I think we're the furthest away
from the next spot.
Because everyone is on full tactical alert. And what idiot is going to try to rob a bank the day after it was robbed? Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
So I know a lot of you are freaked out. Now's not the time to be freaked out. I mean, you can mourn, you can pray, but as far as being freaked out on your way into work tomorrow...
Well, this is infamy, and it will be revenged. There will be justice.
Right. All right. We'll be back tomorrow night. We will play it by ear tomorrow night.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do some our normal calls, and maybe we'll talk more about this. We'll see how you're feeling, and we'll do whatever you want to do. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying, mahalo.
When the hell is it the right time to ask who did this? I mean, it is going to be an awful catastrophe for the next 10 years. We're going to be mourning forever. Today's the day of shock and asking who the hell did this.
This has been Loveline. The opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the staff, management, sponsors, or this station. The producer for Loveline is Ann Wilkins Ingle. Loveline is a presentation of Westwood One Entertainment.